And so that's the only way you know it's recording is that flash button is flashing.
Yes. I mean, I get a notification on my phone whenever the town goes live.
Okay. All right. Everybody turn on the microphone.
It looks like the YouTube live thing may be messed up.
No,
When you
it's-
click on tonight, no?
Just wait. Give it like 30 seconds.
Just a little delay.
There's a little bit of a delay.
It says recording in progress on our little iPad.
Thank you.
But this is our first time using it.
Is that John? Oh no, that's his PD radio.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which he can't hear because he.
Can you see if we're good on YouTube, Letty?
Check it.
Okay, I'll wait till Letty confirms that we're good before we gavel it open. Let me text John just to make sure that he got the Teams meeting.
I can see it from my phone, Andy. Can you see it now?
Yep, I have the YouTube now.
Okay, there's just a little delay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so we'll keep our eyes open for John. Oh, hold on, I have a message from him. Yes, he's joining soon. Okay. So first, I will take a motion to allow Andy to participate remotely.
Moved. Second.
I'll take a Paul moved and Letty second.
works.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so Andy can participate remotely. We'll do another one for John once he hops on. We'll move on to payroll, although what did I do with it? Did I pass it around?
No.
Yes,
There it
it's
is.
in the bottom of that stack right on top of the yellow folder. I accidentally passed it to you.
Oh.
One more down, that one,
Oh.
yep.
Yeah.
All right, for the period ending 6/1/24, we had payroll in the amount of $40,864.09. We had accounts payable in the amount of $23,969.85. We had no school or NHRS payments. Send that around for our signatures. I don't see John yet. He said he's gonna hop on. I think he's like somewhere it's the middle of the night there.
He's in Lithuania.
Lithuania, yes.
I don't know what time zone it is.
I think it's 7 hours ahead. Oh, hi, John.
All right, we're here.
You ready to rock?
Ready to do this.
All right, I will take a motion for John to participate remotely.
That's pretty cool. Moved.
Letty, Paul, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Actually, we need to take a roll call because we have Andy remote now. Andy? Approve
Aye.
for John to be remote? Paul? Letty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so John can be remote. We will have to do all of our votes by roll call because of having remote members tonight. For the public, we're going to try to keep tonight's meeting pretty fast because we do have 2 remote members and we have 1 board member who's not feeling very well. So we are going to try to go quickly. We are going to move on to the consent agenda. I will take a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions on the consent agenda?
None. Gotta sign it.
We have a motion and a second. We'll take a roll call vote. I know it's a little confusing. Roll call vote. Andy?
Aye.
John?
Abstain.
Paul?
Aye.
Letty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so we will review and approve that consent agenda. What it includes is the public minutes from 5/21, the rec manifest, the treasurer's reports, and building permits as usual. We will now open public comment at 6:05. Anyone who's interested in commenting, please come up to the table and turn the microphone on. And you, I think, should be all set. Do you have everything you need?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What? I think we did have some overtime, yes. You want to comment?
It was the Nationals last weekend, so there's a lot of details.
Ah, gotcha. So details. So for public comment, please come up to the table and turn on the microphone. Remember to state your name and your address, please. Go ahead.
Working? Yep,
Yep, as long as it's red, you're good.
okay. Liz Freya, South Road. I just wanted to comment, I watched intently the last select board meeting where John Morgan tried again to vote down the funding for the Brentwood newsletter. And I would like this to be reported in the record. He stated that he represented all of Brentwood. I looked at the voting in March, and in fact, John, you represent just over 17% of the voters in Brentwood. So I just wanted to correct that fact. There's
Liz,
30
that's factually incorrect. As elected officials, we represent every single person living in Brentwood. That's our job as select board
Okay.
members. It's different from who voted for us,
Okay,
but we represent everyone in this town in their best
well,
interest.
ideally, we would hope that is true. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All right, seeing none, we will close public comment at 6:07 and move on to discussion action items. We did have Chief Ventura here for non-public, but that has been canceled due to the candidate not moving forward. We will move on to the next item, which is Kip, to talk about business registration. Come on up.
Okay, I believe, did everybody get a page on my thoughts? And
Yep, we have your in the packet.
so, pretty much as I've said, I've talked to fire, police, and so on, and
I don't know what happened.
Keep going, Kip.
and everybody
We're-
seems to be on board in regards to that. And also, I just made a couple of comments in regards to things that have happened, and they could have probably been avoided. So this registration doesn't cost anything. It's something that I would put on my permitting site because it's part of the state code that we need to do business occupancy for each and every business. We have a lot of businesses in town that we don't know who or what they are at this point, but we can do this also, volunteer, we can let people know, send it out, maybe we'll get some information that'll help us along. And possibly next year, he can commit this to being part of the zoning ordinance, possibly through the planning board, so it would carry fines and that sort of item.
And remind me, I know when we talked about this last year with the prior board, there was some questions and concerns about this, which is why it got sort of tabled and put off. Do you remember, Karen? I think at that time, were we going to charge a fee? Was that part of the concern about how to manage the fee aspect?
There was, and then which department would oversee it?
Right, okay. So the decision was made to remove the fee. And Kip, your understanding is that moving forward, we would be able to catch 100% of businesses because we would make this required, but retroactively, it would kind of have to be a pseudo honor system to get all
Moving
businesses.
forward, we should be able to catch. It's not to catch, it's just
To
to help them out.
record, yeah.
And how would that happen? And so I think, first off, just to say it's a great idea because I know, like, through being on the planning board, there were occasions where we were struggling with, property owners who was leasing to businesses and not knowing what they were doing and then having to go in and figure out what they were doing and whether or not it was compliant with the plan that had been in place. And it was a issue and a problem, but I would love to hear how you intend to, make this happen.
Well, as I say, going forward, any people that are doing a site plan, be before the planning board. I'll make sure that these forms are known and they can be given out there. It's just like people that don't get building permits. Not gonna get 100%.
Right.
But it's an awareness campaign. We you gotta start someplace. Now is a great time to do it with the growth that we're seeing.
Kip, is there a way we could tie it to site plans or building permits so that the form was required? Would we have to change our town policies to make this a required step in permitting, or what's your feeling on that?
So in regards to building permits and code enforcement, it's part of the state code. It's required to section 111 in the IBC. So we've adopted that code. So it's something that should be there, just like building permits. I would like to see it also as a portion of the town zoning ordinance. I'm not familiar if it can just be added in or if it needs to go to vote, but it can certainly be made available now and be put on that agenda in the future.
Is there some list of businesses that you can send this to and ask them to, you know?
We have, that's part of the point of this is we don't have a listing of businesses. We've never
We,
really kept one.
We do have, Kip, we can, Jillian and I can work with you on a preliminary, fairly comprehensive list of businesses in town, provided this is voluntary and in nature, at this point, so.
John, that was
We do,
Econ Dev had started that list, right?
yeah, exactly, so we have, Jillian, where are we at, like 190?
I think I have over
200, yeah, so something, again, this is our research only, this is not official, and, we wouldn't, I don't think that we would be supportive of using it for, any purposes other than voluntary, registration, but yes, we can certainly, look to collaborate with Kip on that front.
And I was thinking this also could go up on the town website with a little blurb on ways that it can help the business owners. We have people that have businesses in town, want to register vehicles. We don't know that they're there. So the town clerk will ask me, I don't know they're there. So
In terms of like a commercial vehicle?
right,
Okay.
that sort of thing. And it happens quite frequently.
Yep.
This will make things easier for business owners as well.
Karen, do you have any thoughts on if we would have to add a zoning ordinance, if we need to go to planning board, to ZBA, to make this going forward one of the steps that new businesses in town do?
What Kip and I had talked about today was if you rolled it out now, if the board was willing to adopt it, that you could make it voluntary.
Yep.
And then I think it would be a good idea for it to be part of site plan review going forward. And then that way we would be able to have some more enforcement action as we went
Right.
forward. But for now, I think this is a great start.
Board questions, comments on this topic, or questions for Kip at all?
Yeah, so is the idea then for, I mean, it would seem natural to get planning board, you know, along, you know, with this as well, and
Mhm.
moving it, especially if it's gonna be made part of the
Part of zoning.
process, yeah, so.
Has planning board ever discussed any kind of business registration or business directory or anything?
Only through myself when I brought it up a few years ago.
Right,
Okay.
And it was quite negative.
And we get a lot of calls. I mean, people will typically call myself or they'll call the planning office and ask if there is some sort of a registration form or if they have, especially if they're leasing a space,
Right.
if that's part of the process. And we always say no, so.
And I think I remember last year when we discussed this, that Chief Byrd had felt it was very helpful
Mhm.
just to be, from a safety perspective, to be aware of what businesses had what kind of supplies or, you know, dangerous items or things that they might need to know about on a call. So I know that they were very much in favor of just for safety awareness in the town.
Yeah, through the course of time, happenstance, have found buildings, like say, full of batteries, for example,
Mm-hmm.
because they were servicing batteries, but we didn't know the business was here.
Right.
And that's something you don't want to be rolling up and putting a lot of water on.
Sure. Sure. Okay.
So are you gonna bring this to, can it be brought to the planning board at the next meeting, or? It would seem like, it goes hand in hand.
Sure, I mean, this has been known for a few years. They say, I can kick it off, and hopefully the planning board will come on board with it.
Yep, and I do think it's something the select board could decide to do. I think planning board would be integral in the future rollout if it was going to become at all strongly suggested or mandatory. I definitely think we would need planning board's agreement to that. But this seems to me like a good step forward, because I do think the two main stumbling blocks the last board had was that there was a fee associated with it, and it was very clear what kind of unclear what kind of enforcement we were going to do and whose responsibility it was. So I think that it sounds like the way that's been resolved is to just make it voluntary for now and no charge. Okay.
Certainly.
Okay. Any other board members have questions or comments about this or for Kip? No? Do you folks feel comfortable voting to move forward with this process, or do folks want to vote to put it over to planning board? What does everyone feel the most comfortable with now?
What would be the vote exactly?
I think to adopt this document and start the voluntary use of it by posting it on the website, putting it out on the Facebook page, potentially accessing the list from Econ Dev and doing a mailing to those folks and starting the voluntary process. That would be am I stating that correctly?
Yeah, basically promoting it is something that we need and should be doing already.
Right.
So that part's gonna go forward, but promote the promotion.
Yep.
This
Sure.
exact
So-
document or some document approximately like this?
This, other than maybe one more line for another email address, this would,
Yeah, I
Maybe
would
that's
actually
good.
change the email address instead of your email address to business@brentwoodnh.gov and just use that mail forwarding thing that we can do, Karen, with a list,
sure.
so that
So that it doesn't all have to go to Kip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
would
it
enjoy
will,
that
but
myself.
you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Like, it would, that way if at
Other
some
people
point we
can access it.
decide that it needs to go somewhere else, then it doesn't. have to.
What's the big global email business?
We can.
Oh, you're talking about making a new one.
Mhm.
I thought you were referencing an existing one.
It's
Gotcha.
just a distribution
Yep.
list, yeah.
Okay. Any other comments specifically about, I mean, it's a pretty general form, sort of
Yep.
who are you, what do you do, where are you, what's your tax map number, what do you have hazardous chemicals?
The only other question that I had is if there was somebody who didn't necessarily have a business, but if they had a home hobby, like woodworking or something, and they had a lot of, like if a resident wanted to say, hey, I have this stuff on site, I'm not a business, but like, just as an FYI, you should know I have it here, could they also fill this out?
Sure, they could, it would be a way for them to do that without having to contact fire or whatever.
Sure.
So I was gonna bring it up as well, and say I do this in another town, I've done this sort of thing for a while. This same type of form, other towns use it for their home occupations.
Hmm.
And basically, it then classifies that edifice, those buildings, that there is a home occupation there. So if there's an issue or somebody has a complaint or, it's already done. You already know it's there.
That's interesting. Which technically, I mean, a home business falls under business,
It's
Right. Yeah.
kind of written that way, so it
Right.
can be used for both.
but maybe we can encourage people that if they do have a home business, that they can also, this would apply to them as well.
Right.
Yep.
Do you need the tax map and lot on there, just because I?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Like, so I'm gonna fill this out for my business, and then how would I?
We'll probably end up filling it out for everybody, but it will
Okay.
be an important reference for all of us to be able to keep track of.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's available on the town website if you don't know.
And-
Maybe in our education, we should
Yeah.
let people know how they can find out what
Oh,
their
yeah,
tax map
if we're
number
gonna
is.
mail something to
Yeah.
somebody, then we need to do that.
Definitely.
And if this becomes a forum on the Permit Pro site.
It'll be,
Sorry.
it's right there.
Okay, so, yeah,
That's a problem for
everything's
another
there.
day.
All right. Anyone interested in making a motion to move forward with this process per Kip's request?
Yeah.
So move contingent on the suggestions by Letty.
Correct. So we have a motion by Paul. Any seconds?
Second,
We'll take a roll call vote. Andy?
aye.
John?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Letty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so we'll move forward with this. Thank you for your work on this over several years. We got it done.
It's all fun.
Fun and games. Thanks, Kip.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next, we have Becky Dunham to talk with us about the bond for the conservation process. Come on up.
Becky Dunham, Chair Conservation. I live at 9 Block Drive. Is that necessary?
You don't
I
actually have
know.
to say that, but thank you for
Okay,
saying it.
okay. Karen had posted the required notice of public hearing earlier in May, so that we could hold the meeting on June 4. Conservation met tonight. We had a quorum. We had 6 show up. We had nominated 2 alternates to serve and vote. So we had a full roster. The public notice was read, and a motion was made to make a recommendation to the Select Board. I asked Jen to sit in on this meeting so that we had the language correctly defined in the motion, and she concurred that what we were proposing was accurate and met the commitments. The vote was unanimous, 6-0, to forward a recommendation to the Select Board. And I think that is the full requirement of what we needed to do tonight.
And you want me to read the wording from it?
Yes, if you'd like to.
Yep. So their motion was essentially to make an official recommendation from their Conservation Committee to the Select Board to seek bonds or notes in compliance with the provisions of the Municipal Finance Act pursuant to Article 1 of the 2022 Town Warrant regarding the acquisition of a conservation easement on approximately 28-acre portion of land situated on the eastern side of Pickpocket Road, so-called located in the Town of Brentwood, County of Rockingham, State of New Hampshire, being a portion of the property described in the deed recorded in Book 5940, page 1003 of the Rockingham County Registry of Deeds, currently owned by the Norma Fuller Irrevocable Trust, shown on the Town of Brentwood tax maps as Map 213, Lot 1. The easement will be held by CELT, with the town holding an executory interest in the amount of $250,000. Questions from the board about that?
This is just one of many steps that it takes to pursue an easement.
Correct.
So I'm glad that we've reached this point and we're moving forward.
Correct. And I did see, Karen, in the mail, we had a note from the bond bank. Can you give us an update on that step? Did you see that?
So the note in the bond bank saying that we have been preliminary approved for the bond, all of the documents need to be submitted to the bond bank by 6/14, which is why it was important
Okay.
to have this public hearing tonight.
Okay.
In addition to that, I need a certificate of vote regarding the authorization of bonds and the loan agreement for the town to move forward with New Hampshire Municipal Bond Bank.
That's the particular thing we need to vote on right now as a
Yes.
board.
So if you're complete with your update, then do you want me to move forward with this?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is to certify that there is no vacancies on the board, that all members of the board were duly notified of the time, place, and purpose of the meeting. One of the purposes is to authorize the bonds and approval of the loan agreement between the New Hampshire Bond Bank and the town. So the bond is being issued for $250,000. The interest rate is to be set no higher than 3.75%. It is going to be a 15-year bond because the 2022 warrant article stated that no bonds would be issued for a term of less than 15 years. We have requested level funded principal, and so the bond payment schedule will be a $20,000 principal payment for 5 years, and then a $15,000 principal payment for the remaining 10 years, plus the interest.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
About this one? So, I wasn't able to, I wasn't able to pull it up on the map, and I don't know if y'all are looking at maps. Are we talking about a piece of land that, has frontage on Pickpocket? And, is it generally developable? I think those are just the 2 questions I was hoping to get insight on.
Becky, do you want to speak to that?
Yes, I have it in my folder.
Okay.
If I can go get that.
Sure. Yes.
But I have the language in here. Okay. It has, let's see, road frontage, road name and type. This is what was put together by CELT when this was proposed to the board. 600 feet frontage on Middle Road, Class 5, maintained, 200 feet frontage on Pickpocket Road. Abuts 24 acres of the Shipley Conservation easement held by the Town of Brentwood, and the description of where it lies in relation to Lewisburg Circle. It describes the type of soils, farmland, et cetera, water resources. It's attached to Dudley Brook that runs through the property, so that was the water resource. It specifies the types of soil, 12 acres in wildlife action. It's part of the New Hampshire Coastal Conservation Plan, and 5.3 acres ranks above average for climate resilience. So there's quite a lot of detail in here that the board was given about this parcel, I think about 3 months ago, 4 months ago. So
And I
yes,
think
there is
the
frontage on
general
Pickpocket.
consensus is that if not conserved, that was buildable land
Yes,
that could have
yes.
housing or other commercial
Yes.
or residential activities built on it.
And one of the nice aspects of this particular parcel is when you look at a map of all the conservation land that surrounds it, it provides a link to other conservation property that's right adjacent and right across the border into Exeter. So it creates a wildlife corridor through that part of the two towns. So it's a nice link.
Does that answer
Yeah.
your question, John?
Yeah, it's very helpful. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
Other questions? Seeing no other questions, do we have a motion to move forward and sign the bond agreement?
So moved.
Second.
We'll take a roll call vote. Andy?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Letty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so we will move forward. Do we all have to sign it or just myself?
Just the chair. So there's 4 copies of the loan agreement that need to be signed, and then the certificate of vote is signed by the town clerk.
Okay.
Karen, when that's all in place, I know we keep complete files down in the other room. If I could just add that and start a file on the Fuller, then that would be great.
Sure.
Thank you.
And thank you to Conservation for all their work and moving us forward. It's exciting to have our first.
The first
Piece
portion
moving
of the 3
forward
million,
here.
that's right.
There you go.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Am I done?
Yep, I think so. Anything else you need on that, Karen, or is that all good?
That is it for the
That is
bond.
all good, okay. Next, we have the rec van MOA that had gotten bumped a meeting or 2 ago because we had some very long meetings, but I believe that's ready to go. Karen, are you presenting that tonight?
I am. So Andy's made the amendments that the board had requested before. He has added the liability statement. It is a one-time document that will be signed, and then we'll put a mileage log, yes.
I can read your mind.
I did. The fee that he is proposing is at least a $50 minimum, and then anything over 50 miles, it would be the standard IRS rate in addition to it. And the rec director of the town of Kingston would be the one authorized to drive the vehicle. We have a certificate of liability, and we already have obtained that person's driving record. So they have been cleared as long as this board is agreeable.
Great. And it all got condensed onto one page, which is nice.
Yes, and he did add the language that in exchange, the summer camp of Brentwood would be allowed to use Kingston State Park.
Right. Any board members with questions or concerns about this final version of the document? Andy or John, any concerns? No? All right, seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve this document.
Moved.
Second.
And we'll take a vote. Andy?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Letty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so we will pass that and get it off to Andy. And we'll see how that goes with that sharing. Great. All right. We will now move on to regular business, and we will start with Karen.
I have reached out to our rep at Eversource and obtained an agreement for us to hang graduation banners on the utility poles.
Oh, nice.
They will not allow for permanent brackets because then that requires licensing and a cost to the town. So I have reached out to Tricia and I had let her know that fact. I've sent the agreement off to council just because I want to make sure we still have open litigation for a tax abatement.
Right.
And there is no language in the agreement that's obvious that would infringe upon that abatement, but I just wanted them to have eyes on it just to double check that.
And if it's not permanent, it's no cost to the
Correct.
town. Okay.
So basically, the language says you can hang up what you want. This is the time frame in which you can hang it. If we damage it or we need to remove the pole to do our regular service, you're out your money.
Okay.
So that's our sort of sunk cost,
Sure.
potentially.
And I had talked with Trish Canty a little bit offline, and she's sort of doing the process to figure out maybe a volunteer group that she's going to be part of to figure out about how to organize it, how to do some fundraising. So I think they're probably going to come back to us and let us know once that's moving forward.
Nice.
Do you want me to do the Pickpocket Dam update? Karen and I met with Nico from the Exeter Select Board on Monday as a follow-up meeting about the Pickpocket Dam. People may or may not be aware that Exeter did not receive the NOAA grant to remove the Pickpocket Dam, but irregardless of that, the River Advisory Council in Exeter did make a formal vote to remove the dam, no matter where the funds came from. And it is likely that at the June Select Board meeting that the Exeter Select Board will make a definitive decision on what they want to do. It is relatively likely that they're going to vote to move forward with dam removal, as dam removal is significantly less expensive. And because they do not now have grant money, they will have to go to their voters, put it on their CIP, do a warrant, et cetera. So this process will play out into next year and the next budget season. And they have volunteered to keep us informed and keep us updated on the process. So there are no major new developments other than that they did not receive the grant, and they will be discussing it at their upcoming, I believe it was like June
24th.
At their June 24th meeting. So anyone interested could watch or attend that meeting.
Was there a reason? Why?
What we were told is that there were 4 times as many applicants compared to the number of grants that were available, and that they did reach out to NOAA to ask if there were any additional reasons why they were denied, so that they could potentially remediate those for a reapplication in a different cycle. But as far as they know now, there was no reason other than they just weren't selected. But they weren't sure. Okay. Next, there's a South Road update.
So Corey Spetalunas, who did the presentation on April 16th at the BRC from DOT, reached out to me last week. The concept, so they had received the town's letter stating that you were in support of the intermediate term concept, which included removal of the existing rumble strips, repaving with a structural treatment, reallocating pavement widths via pavement striping to make a designated two-way left turn lane, and then adding an additional shoulder for a designated right turn lane at Heavenly and at the county courthouse. So part of the letter from the town had asked them to reallocate funding that was designated towards 2 paving or resurfacing projects on North Road, which DOT is now saying is not feasible. The reallocation of the funding is not feasible.
Because those projects are not delayable?
Correct.
Okay.
So what they have managed to do is they are working with a federal project, which is a resurfacing project on parts of US Route 4 and New Hampshire 125 in the Lee and Epsom area. They said that they can add us to the list for some of the work to be done this year. The only portion of the work that they will not be able to complete is a designated right-hand turn lane. So they are still committing to rebuilding the shoulders at the South Road intersection northbound. They will add the 2 left-hand designated turn lanes. They will remove the existing rumble strips, and they will remove the passing turn lane from South Road up to Precision, I think it's Precision Marine.
Yep.
The cost of Heavenly Donuts and the county courthouse right turn lanes is about $300,000. And so they are going to create a new paving project in order to complete that work in the 25 paving season.
And did they give you a sense of when the first phase will be? It's still going to be this summer?
It should still be this summer.
Okay.
We've asked Corey to circle back to us and give us a firm time frame and when that work can begin and how long they anticipate that to take. We've also asked, I've requested, because a lot of the times when they do repaving projects on 125, they do them overnight. So we requested that if that's a possibility, we would prefer that to happen overnight to not impede commuter traffic.
Quick question. Do we really need the right turn lane at the courthouse if the courthouse facilities are gonna be moving?
Well, that is something that Chief Ventura brought to Corey's attention because a lot of the staff at the courthouse will be moving once the facility is complete on North Road. So those traffic patterns will change. I think the real concern is the right-hand designated turn lane at Heavenly, turning into Heavenly.
And that building, there's still going to be people in that building. It's just
Yeah.
it's just part of them that are moving.
Yeah, because it's just the Registry of Deeds in the county
Right.
and
People in
the
the
county attorney's
basement, I think,
office.
right, are
Yeah.
moving. Yeah.
Court's still.
But the
The
court
court will still
there.
be there. Yeah. That's great. This is tremendous progress. And it's not a traffic light, it's not a roundabout, but it is the first feasible step that the state had funds for. So I think this is a big success and hopefully we'll make that safer.
Yep.
Great, thanks for that update. You have a question on here about who's available to sign the manifest next week. I will. Letty, I'm seeing yes. Paul, so we have at least a quorum, so
Okay.
we should be good. You have some documents for us?
This is the earned time policy that was approved by the board on 5/21
So this is just the official
adoption. of it.
adoption. We already voted on this, so do
Yes.
we just need to sign it and make it signed, sealed, delivered? Okay. Okay.
I have an abatement for the county, which is 119 North Road. They own one parcel, and for whatever reason, when we do a merge from the assessing program into the tax program, sometimes one of their line items, which is their parking lot, moves from a non-taxable to taxable, and then we have to abate it. So this is just to clean that up.
So it's just like a technicality,
Yes.
and this is an abatement that we've done repeatedly?
We've done it a couple of times, yes.
Okay, whenever that mistake happens.
Can we say no?
Do you want to go fight it out, John?
Kinda.
I hear you. So this is for an abatement at 119 North Road. Do we have a motion for that?
Moved.
Any second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll take a vote. Andy?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Letty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so we will go ahead and sign this. And then Letty, did you plan to talk about the RPC applications when we get to committee updates, or should we do it now?
I have one more abatement.
She has one more paper.
Oh, okay, I'll let you do your one more paper and then we
I
can
have
talk
one more
about that.
paper. Northern New England Telephone filed for an abatement in February. They are a utility. George Sansucci, who is the town's utility appraiser, is recommending that due to the pending litigation and insufficient information provided in their application, that you deny the abatement. And then once the trial court process works through, then they will reevaluate.
What kind of abatement are they asking for?
That is saying that their assessment is disproportionate. So that is the crux of the 2017 appeal that we have.
This is just a different company
It's just a different
as
year.
opposed to Eversource.
Yeah.
And would
the
we
same basis.
use the information that is going to come out of the Eversource litigation to help us decide these types of
We would apply,
abatements?
yes, a lot of the arguments are based off of the distribution costs.
Okay,
And there was new legislation 2020
Right.
that was put in place to resolve that matter.
so we would essentially just be tabling this until the
Until that is
litigation with
heard.
Eversource completes?
Yes, which the
Okay.
trial is scheduled for September.
Okay. Board questions or comments about that?
What happened with the mediation?
I can tell you in non-public if you'd like.
Sure.
Any questions or comments on this? Do you need a vote to table it or just a,
A vote, please, yes.
okay. I'll take a motion to table this.
Motion to table.
Yep, second.
Second.
Ooh, Andy got in with the second. We'll take a vote. Andy?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Letty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so we'll just hold off on this. Do we need
We
to
need you to sign
sign?
it, yes.
This is saying we deny it. Yep, okay. So we are not approving it at this time. Okay. And the non-public is canceled off of here, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then did you want to do the RPC discussion now or
Sure.
wait until Letty? So at our last meetings or 2 meetings ago, can't remember, Steph Kizza came and I had attended the planning board meeting where there was discussion about getting on the RPC 10-year plan. And my understanding is that the information needed for those applications has been gathered up. So maybe you can just give us an update on the status there.
Jillian was working with Steph to put that application together today, and the deadline is tomorrow in order to submit it. It doesn't need a board signature, so she can finish it up tomorrow and then get it off RPC.
Probably just a board vote and general
support of it.
approval to submit would make sense. Do they need a letter of our support or just a board vote of support?
Just a board vote.
Questions for anybody? And just to clarify, that was to put the long-range plan for South Road on there and the long-range plan for building out at the rec, potentially including a roundabout and lots of changes there on the sort of 10-year wish list plan.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Questions or
Make
comments?
a motion.
Go ahead, John.
I said I was going to make a motion to support pushing that forward.
Great. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Letty seconds it, and we'll take a vote. Andy?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Letty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So thank you so much to Jillian, especially to Steph Kizza, to the planning board, again to Steph Kizza, and again to Steph Kizza for really helping us with this process. And Jillian's shaking her head yes. Again, thank you to Steph Kizza. Okay, so she gets 3 or 4 thank yous tonight. And that will be great to see if we just get onto that sort of 10-year plan, which can only help us. It doesn't mean that those things have to happen or will happen. It just means that we are sort of on the wish list for the state, which can only help us. Anything else you have before we move on?
No.
Oh, you had a lot tonight. All right, we will move on to Andy. Any committee updates or other board business?
I do not have any committee updates. I just want to say thank you to the communications committee. I'm not sure how the volume is there, but the remote volume is 100% better using Teams than it was with Zoom.
Wonderful. And it was very easy on our side. It was just literally pushing like 2 buttons. So I echo that thanks extremely. And to Letty too, who's our in-person fixer and crisis solver.
Crisis manager.
All right, anything else, Andy?
Nope.
Okay, John?
Second to that, as a longtime user of the remote meetings, this is an exponential improvement on what I've experienced in the past, and it's really wonderful. So thank you to everyone involved in that. The other, in terms of Economic Development Committee updates, we are planning the next quarterly business breakfast. We're looking to get Chase Hagman, who is the Director of Business Development for the state of New Hampshire at BEA, in to speak to us. So we're just waiting to confirm a time and date with him and BEA for the next breakfast. And then we are also in the process of looking to move forward, looking to get some quotes to see if it's feasible to move forward with pickleball on the Olson Field area, the former Olson Field area where the road is now, which is in which corresponds to the discussions we've had with the rec and the community over the last several weeks and months. So stay tuned on that front as well.
John, do you know if does the rec committee have any plans to come before us with any kind of proposal, or is that sort of just in the discussion phase?
I think that what you can expect is the proposal to come either from Andy or from myself, but with the support of the rec committee, if that makes sense.
Okay, thanks. Anything else?
Nothing for me.
Okay, Paul?
No real update other than we had I shouldn't say we, but the town had a very nice reception for for Linda Russo Saturday.
Birthday party, right?
Birthday party and 90th, and it was well attended with a lot of really good history about the town. So, a lot of good history, and to see all the accomplishments that this lady had, I thought was, very nicely done.
Cool. Anything else for us?
That's it.
Okay, Letty?
Communications update. I guess, Karen, if we could move forward with making the meeting for the committees and any town officials that need to get fully updated on what they need to do for the website so that the communications can step away from that. I think we're ready. And I think that's it.
Okay, sounds good. In terms of updates for me, I want to thank Joyce, as always, for organizing the Memorial Day ceremony. I wasn't able to be there because I was working, but I very much appreciate all the hard work that she puts into all of those events, including that one. And so thank you to her. I want to echo thanks to the Communications Committee. And there is an instructional email on how to use this setup, which I think, now that we've seen that it seems to be the right instructions, that we will get to all chairs of all committees to disperse so that everybody figures out how to use this room effectively. When you were talking about the session to train all committee heads, Karen, we had talked about officially implementing the new guidelines for committees.
Mhm.
Should we maybe circulate that in the next board packet so that everybody can look at it, and then we can put that up for a vote? The only real changes was just standardizing all the timing to the summer and changing to a collaborative appointment process, right? That was really, and then specifically saying that we're going to do a training that involves both AV and 91A and make it sort of a little bit more official.
Okay.
So we'll circulate that updated policy, so we'll get it signed and active. And then as we do that at the next meeting, we can also, I think, plan the timing for when we will open up for the open seats on our various boards and committees. That sound good?
Yes.
Okay. I think, one more thing that I had from BudCom, we do have a BudCom meeting on Monday, the 17th. That will be our fire station site walk. Members of the public are welcome to come if they're interested. It's at 6 o'clock. We did already the police site walk, and then we will continue moving forward with site walks throughout the summer as we start the budget season. And so that will be Monday, June 17th, 6 o'clock, fire station walk. If anyone is interested in attending, that is our published agenda for that night. And I think that was all
Hold
that
on,
I
I
had.
just
And
remember
Letty
there's one
has
more thing.
something else.
Yes, on the 10th, which is next Monday night, the Municipal Building Committee is having a public Q&A
Okay.
session here, the chief,
What time?
at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. So that's for anyone who has questions, comments, ideas about moving the police station, moving the municipal building,
Yep.
the rec site, etc.
Yes.
Okay. So next Monday. And I think the chief's intention was to do those about once a month if there's public interest, so that the
Yep,
public can
so that
really feel like
people
they're
can really
involved.
feel like they have a chance to get their
Okay.
input in as
Okay.
often.
Thank you
as they want.
for putting that forward. In general, yes, I believe it is. Let me just confirm on my calendar here.
Yes, I think the 18th.
Yes, 18th at 1:30 PM is the municipal building meeting the day prior. I think that's how the chief had wanted it to work. Public information session, and then immediately after the municipal building meeting, so we could discuss any public comment that had arisen. Okay. Any other board business before we close out our meeting?
Motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
Yes, second.
Okay, vote. Andy?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Letty?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. We will adjourn at 6:49. Much better than 9:49, which I think was last time. All right.